It was a few years later, obviously. It's 1990. But I think what you're seeing is as I said before, sort of variations on the same theme of people doing same sort of thing, same sort of same sort of concentration. It's not an intense concentration, but it's a concentration on a boat movement, on feeling of the boat speed, of the timing of the boat, and it's all to do with sort of a self-expression, if you like, of a group of people in an environment. In this case, it's this rowing boat. But I don't think there's very much difference between the way people are working here and the way people were working in the one you saw from 10 or 8 years before that. So, just looking at, for me, rowing's the way to look at rowing is in a pretty simple way, and that is to, just to try to do some basic movements really well, and to keep it as simple as possible. There's really only, for me, there's just the idea of well, there's the two phases obviously to the stroke, the bit in the water, the bit out, but for me it's just important that you get the right relationship between the one in the water and the one outside, and the one when you're on the slide coming forward again. And so it's maximising the effect in the water and then letting the boat do the rest while you don't disturb it on the recovery. And one of the things that I coach a lot is relaxation. You look at the hand grip, for example, of this guy here, or all of them, you'll find that their hands are very relaxed in their movements. It's the ability to be poised forward on the front of the slide before the blade is entered in the water, which allows this maximum efficiency of being to pick the boat up at the furthest point at which you can reach. We'll just do a little bit more on that. As with anything, you can look for faults, you'll find them, but look for this round and round movement, this control forward, and this just effortless, if you like, part of just making the whole thing into one movement. I try not to talk too much about a catch, because a catch to me is a type of word that tends to almost suggest that it's a sharpness. For me, it's just an earliness of getting in the water, into the movement of what's been going on. Okay. Perhaps too many buildings around to see this one really well, but again, this is the last crew I was coaching in Switzerland, the last rowing crew, and they also were quite good at getting this balance forward and being on their feet and getting their blades in so that they could then accelerate off the right point of the stroke. And so I think they were quite good at that. What I try to have is that the catch is just as part of the whole movement. It isn't something which is anything different. So for me, it's just part of a whole cycle. It's not something that there is suddenly an accentuation of. It's just a point that you go into as part of the whole natural process. And later, in the second session, I've got some video, just sort of showing you some of the ways in which I try to get people to do that. Just the other thing I like about these guys is they can there's lightweight guys obviously, that they can really accelerate the stroke off, but that's because they've got a good bit of water connected onto there, and they haven't allowed their bodies to get too far away from the catch. in terms of returning down the slide before so they've lost too much before they can actually move the boat off with their legs at the right timing point. As I say, there's definite timing points for definite boat speeds, for different types of boats and different types of speed that you're trying to go in the boat. And it's trying to get people to recognise when the point is that they have to apply the maximum acceleration. That's a key as to which crews are going to go a bit quicker than others in a technical sense. Obviously there's other aspects that come into things, but in this moment anyway, talking about technical things.